I hate this stupid ass game. But it's a kind of hate where I'm really just mad it couldn't be what it was. Mad that these Blizzard niggas don't know how to balance shit. Mad Doomfist is so ass. I could talk about that shit all day, but this video is not for that. Balancing, updates, gameplay, no. We're going to be talking about the universe of Overwatch. Something that I believe could have easily rivaled already existing franchises if it were given enough focus and time to bloom. Like bro, honestly, imagine at the peak of the animated shorts if they dropped an actual Netflix series on our heads. It would have had the old internet in a chokehold on some Squid Game shit, bro. Don't tell me y'all niggas wasn't going every time that shit came on, bro. Like, but right now if you're thinking, what the fuck is the Overwatch? What they watching over? I got you. Let me fill you in. Overwatch at its core is a 5v5, free-to-play, team-based, multiplayer shooter game. With live updates of over 6 years, a lot has changed. It's now free-to-play. Originally it was around like $40 and 6v6. Now it's a big-ass 2 in the name, battle pass, all that whack-ass jazz. It's one of those games where if you ask anybody that plays it how they feel about the game, they'll say they fucking hate it. The core gameplay consists of 3 classes of characters, with a highly saturated cast of over 35 that serve their own role within the battlefield. Not only that, but they have their own involvement within the lore of the game, with there being absolutely no shortage of small conversations between the heroes here and there, introducing like bits and pieces of overall lore and relationship between a pair or trio of heroes, whether they be close friends or sworn enemies. But the animated shorts are really what had separated Overwatch from other games from the beginning. Every single story dedicated to a hero or heroes, diving into their own niche, their own little world, told in their own way, often derivative of the culture or background in which the hero is based in, reinforced by a unique soundtrack committed to the general background the character is from and the theme that the short conveys. What this means is shorts range from being told containing elements of East Asian folktales, like using animals as representation, symbolic messaging, reinforced consequences, and moral lessons, woodblock prints, East Asian instrumentation, to shorts reminiscent of a spaghetti western with its classic standoffs, its own spin on western movie scores, badass, cynical anti-heroes, and one singular tumbleweed crossing the street. Every single short is unique to itself, and to the hero it's shining its light upon. Using every artistic medium it can, visually, figuratively, and musically, to enhance the experience. They all have one thing in common that, in my opinion, is skillfully shown through subtext throughout all of the shorts, and it's the world building of Overwatch. The ramifications of the Omnicrisis, the reign of Talon, the rise and fall of Overwatch, the chaos that the world has fallen into, and how exactly every human, omnic, cyborg, mosquito, scientist, playable or not, has been dealing with it. Many who have fallen victim to the crossfire are now thriving off the chaos. One example is Widowmaker, who at one point was a widely respected dancer married to an Overwatch agent, which at first he didn't think anything of. After Talon's multiple attempts at eliminating her husband, they decided on a different approach, kidnapping his wife and turning her into a cold-blooded, emotionless assassin. After a period of time being hostage to Talon, she was rescued by Overwatch agents, but the damage was already done, and a few weeks after being rescued, she murdered her husband in his sleep. Since then, she been straight clapping, because and robots, she don't discriminate. Others weren't exactly a result of getting caught in the crossfire, but were among the many causes of crossfire. But before he joined Talon, working with the likes of Doomfist, Sombra, and Widowmaker, that set on enacting revenge on former Overwatch agents, he was just Gabriel Reyes. A man who, when finding himself in every fork in the road life has bestowed upon him, he chose the moral high ground. An accomplished police officer who believed the only way to truly deal with evil and make a difference was to rip it from the source. But after arresting hundreds of felons, achieving the highly respected veteran status in the military, and even earning a position among the Soldier Enhancement Program alongside a good friend named Jack Morrison. Nothing changed. Time and time again, he's seen all of his acts of justice resort to nothing. Amidst the Omnic crisis, Overwatch was formed, with Reyes maintaining leadership, but that was until the United Nations saw just how team-oriented Morrison was, and the key role he played in shaping the group, as opposed to Reyes's rogue-like style of leadership. This seemed to have been the dynamic between the two of them for over the course of the rest of their friendship, with tension in their friendship rising incrementally with every decision made. Morrison being known for always choosing the most valiant and ethical route, while Reyes grown ever more anti-heroic and questionable in nature, even if Morrison spent a lot of time defending said nature. That was until a hidden subdivision of Overwatch was formed, with the purpose of performing morally ambiguous operations that would stain Overwatch's reputation, should it be performed under that label. With Reyes assuming leadership of Blackwatch, this effectively heightened the line in the sand drawn between Morrison and Reyes, and the pillars that each stood on, resembling their honor and their dishonor. The end of both Overwatch and Blackwatch could be attributed to the constant dissonance within the two, the uneasiness that lied dormant in Reyes. It could also be attributed to the number of sting operations that were executed by Blackwatch, made public, and Overwatch's association with it. But no matter what angle you look at it from, Overwatch was split down the middle, and officially, both Morrison and Reyes died in an explosion that took place in the Overwatch HQ, in the middle of an attack led by Reyes, and the United Nations was forced to disband Overwatch shortly after. But both of them survived, and they knew each other survives, and it stands now that they live by every single day, planning on enacting revenge against one another. Alright man, it's time for some dialogue. The bag they could have gotten themselves by just focusing on two characters is crazy. Reaper and Soldier, or Genji and Hanzo. For Genji and Hanzo, man, are good. You have yourself a DMC type game if y'all really wanted it. Y'all have yourself a Ghost of Tsushima game, but set in the future if y'all really wanted it. A seafood type game if y'all really want. You could fuck around and make the arcane of Overwatch centered around just Reaper and Soldier. Like, you get where I'm going here. It don't even gotta be a game. You could give this world to he'd make the most fire 26 episode anime you've ever seen in your life. You could do a lot of things with just these two, surrounded by everyone else, you know. Reaper and Soldier's friendship turned to rivalry over the course of decades would be an amazing movie. Of course, you know, including the likes of Talon, Widowmaker, Moira, Doomphase, bro, like, wow. It's a lot of untapped potential from over the course of 7 years. We're just non-stop teasing, bro. Like, stop the teasing. I also want to go back to the Arcane thing, because Arcane is one of the most best written and overall just one of the most impressive shows I've ever watched. And that shit is based off of fucking League of Legends, you know. I wouldn't touch that game with a 13-foot pole. But that show damn near had me like, can't be that bad. It also only started production 6 years after League dropped, so I mean, we still have time, right? I mean, they just canceled PvE after years of teasing it and development, etc., saying we were trying to do too many things at once and lost focus. We had an exciting but gargantuan vision, and we were continuously pulling resources away from the live game in an attempt to realize it. I can't imagine how heartbreaking realizing that was. Like, it's definitely a huge world. So to think of how to make justice of all of this with only PvE, to be honest, I don't think it'd be that good anyway. I feel like a standalone game slash movie slash show route would have been a much better route for this world. It's possible that Blizzard could come back from this, but I don't think they can at all. Like, I seriously doubt it, which is why I made this video. But I'd love to be proven wrong here, trust me. Otherwise, that is why I believe Blizzard fumbled one of the greatest bags of all time. Nigga.